I once heard that life is like a multiple choice question. Sometimes the choices confuse you, not the question itself. And since we're all educators here, I'd like to start by personally asking you a very common question, but with pretty confusing choices. Why did you become a teacher? Because you're driven by all the money you make? Or because you love lunch and bus duties? You pride yourself on needing minimal bathroom breaks at work? Or is it because you have a passion to teach children? Yes, indeed, it is passion that drives us. No doubt the struggles confront us, but success in the classroom is sweetest when we challenge ourselves and facilitate learning experiences that we enable, not some worksheet or canned lesson plan. That's how we grow as educators. Tonight, I want to explore facilitating student growth through independent learning that closely mirrors our experiences as teachers. How can we be passionate about teaching when sometimes our students may not seem to be with us on the same learning journey? How can we build a path for independent learning when often there's a gap between our intentions and what we actually do on a day-to-day basis? Is there a way we could be good teachers who are like candles, lighting the way for others, but not burning out due to being the sole source of illumination? Independent learning, by definition, is the ability to work on your own with minimal directions and with confidence. It includes the sense of how to manage your own learning and how to respond to difficulties and challenges. Together, we will study this skill. But let's first examine the key element to become an independent learner. Skill development usually requires struggle, and independent learning is a skill that is taught for life. And a key element for this skill to develop correctly is struggle. Success sure is sweet when tasted in the classroom, but it's even sweeter if long delayed and has gone through many struggles and defeats. The idea of owning your learning becomes a success story for our students only when they accept that there will be challenges and stumbling blocks. They will fall over, but be certain that they will overcome them. But what usually happens when our students fall on these stumbling blocks? What do they typically do? Do they sit back, analyze the situation, and try a new tack? Or do they scream loud and raise their hand and interrupt their classmates? Do they quietly contemplate on the value of overcoming challenges? Or do they come to you with hope and expectations that you would tell them what to do? Okay, maybe choice B applies to some of our students. I mean, I see that, but I would suspect it's mostly D. Most definitely, it is us that students run to when they seek help. And because of our nature, we tend to spoon feed them little at a time, lest they give up and put their head down from frustration. Students get to realize that struggles through their way of challenges and their way to succeed becomes a difficult task. But understanding that struggles and difficulties throughout the way will guide them, they'll be able to handle their own learning. So when we speak about the main ingredient for independent learning tonight, and what it takes, or what can we promote as teachers in our classes for this skill build, let's keep in the back of our mind that struggle is a key element to better any skill. Here's another question for you. As educators, we want our students to develop a better understanding of what we're teaching them, right? And that starts by setting expectations for their learning, whether it's warm-ups, assignments, do-nows, etc. So with that in mind, which of the following occurs most frequently when you ask a question to reveal understanding of expectations in your classroom? Every hand shoots up to answer the question. Or students get upset when you don't call on them. Students complain that your question is totally unnecessary because we got this. Or it's a couple of hands up, if any, on crickets and tumbleweeds. How many of us state directions in our classes and not long after, students ask you to repeat them? Say, what? What was that again? I don't know what I'm doing. Do you? So understanding expectations becomes the main ingredient for independent learning. Students should be able to answer the what, why, and how questions about every task, every assignment given to them. They must be able to hear state directions by us, clear directions stated by the teacher in front of them. Stating clear directions, followed by instruction checking questions, will transform these looks we get, blank stares, to looks of confidence. Emphasize to your students that the task will be explained now, once, that they must listen and listen with alertness. This gets our students, believe it or not, to always be on guard in a classroom because they get to see that the responsibilities have shifted from the teachers to the students. They get to realize that being alert in the classroom is actually an easier option, not the other way around. And paying more attention leads to questions. Asking questions leads to understanding. And understanding leads the way for an independent learner. And one other important point, it's not just what's expected, but also having an idea and a strong sense on why they're being asked to do what we want them to do. This is when I believe independent learning starts climbing this mountain and goes from I won't, I can't, I want to how do I? I'll try. I will, I can, and yes, I did it. They're ascending through challenges and difficulties, that's for sure, but now they have a purpose and a goal to look up to. And along this skill-building journey, they see their teacher as a support, no longer as their only source of knowledge. And when we see our students struggling their way through to succeed, this is when we get to play our best role, a motivator. Which of the following best captures your approach to motivating your students? I lost my voice practicing this. Screaming like a drill sergeant or inducing guilt like a mother? Do you cry like a young child? Maybe they'll feel bad. Or do you base it on the situation and the student? Motivation is an internal process that drives a person toward a particular goal. It has great effect on how our students behave toward their education. And one of the reasons why I believe that some of our students who are unmotivated are the way they are is because they lack basic knowledge and understanding, no purpose. So when we base our students' motivation on solid ground and good understanding of the task, we help them to build blocks to tackle complexity independently and with confidence. For me, differentiating your motivation is key. While ultimately motivation is internal for students, there are times when we as teachers need to provide some external motivation that's somewhat contingent on the student and the situation. Crucial to differentiating your motivation is building a relationship with your students. And I know that's something we've all heard before so many times in so many ways, but what does it really mean for us tonight? It all starts by us. Reveal more about yourself. Your likes, your dislikes, your do's, your don'ts, interests, hobbies. What motivates you? What encourages you to do something? What inspires you? Who is your role model and why? Start conversation and discussions. And that puts us in a stretch zone for sure, but it also allows us to get to know a lot more about each student's motivational currency. What works best for who and what doesn't? Building connections with our students will help boost their drive to conquer challenges they encounter throughout the way, but confident enough that you are there to support them. And what comes next? What comes next after our students understand expectations, which is an accomplishment by itself? Struggle their way through an assignment and work diligently on using all the resources they were given to finally say, I have reached the top of the mountain and yes, I did it. Good job. Let's get pizza for everybody because we need a break. Or would you get a big fat bonus check for a job well done? Anyone would take that? Imagine we get a nice check for every new accomplishment we do in class. We'll definitely be here for the money, no doubt. Or would you move on to the next lesson because we got no time to waste? Or would you build in time for reflection? We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. And feedback can often be described as all kinds of comments that are said after the task is complete, whether it's praise, evaluation, advice, etc. Helpful and productive feedback includes all these nice comments, but it's a goal-referenced feedback. Our students must have a goal set for them in order for reflection to be effective. Providing our students with timely, ongoing, and consistent feedback opportunities will add value to their work in their eyes. They'll see why it's important. Receiving feedback from their teacher, of course, but also their classmates, to teach them how to constructively analyze a piece of work. This all-important appreciation of what counts as high quality work begins to rise in their head, and how to label their work as high quality. The self-awareness of where they stand among others in the classroom will help them to slowly self-reflect. Did you notice that your students have received feedback from multiple perspectives on the same piece of work? The teachers, classmates, and their own reflection. That is the jewel for independent learning. Reflection becomes a habit of mind that helps drive independent learners. Students must have a determined effort under difficulties in order for them to appreciate and actually work hard to continue on their path to reach their goal. Through struggles and accepting to be in their stretch zone will allow them to handle their own learning. Understanding their expectations and what they need to do will make them confident enough to take on a challenge or two. And as an educator, you're always there to motivate, inspire, and encourage them to continue on their way without giving up. Reflecting on students' work will get them opportunities to improve their learning and the quality of their future assignments. And that automatically will help them to self-reflect. When practiced well, all these elements will get our students to be able to do the following: explain, interpret, apply, emphasize, and retain information, which is needed for content understanding to its fullness. As educators, our responsibility is to be a backbone, a strong link that connects all of what the student has to offer to reach their goal, not a spoon ready to feed at any time when seen needed. Let's strive tonight to be educators who nourish their kids with life skills that would help them everywhere they go, not just our classroom. Let's help them become independent learners. Thank you.